To support this bill.
Ian McKelvey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It occurs to me that we've lost our way with this debate somewhat. I think that the debate here relates to a piece of legislation, which in my view is a very good piece of legislation. The amount of money you put behind a piece of legislation is quite a different issue, and clearly the Greens particularly have lost sight of that fact. And I think this piece of legislation is a very good piece of legislation. It's been very well thought out over a long, long time. And so I don't think we should ever lose sight of the fact that we have a piece of legislation. How we fund it's another matter. And I certainly support the way this government's funding it, because at the end of the day, $750 million is a fairly significant slice of cash to put behind a biosecurity system. We also should realise that we live in an isolated place, probably one of the most isolated agricultural producing countries in the world. So we're halfway to protecting ourselves naturally by the tyranny of distance. The other thing, however, that I guess to some extent circumvents that is the fact that we have one of the largest coastlines in the world. It's clearly impossible for us to guarantee we're going to protect our coastline however much money we put into it and how much resource we put into it. Mr. Speaker, this piece of legislation is probably one of the most important pieces of legislation this House will put through it in this term of government. It is there's some groundbreaking change in this. It's the modernisation of a system. It allows those of us who wish to travel, provided we don't take extra stuff in our bags, to travel much more efficiently, effectively and quickly than we used to. It also allows, through much better systems, the identification of risks to our economy, and the biosecurity system can pick that up. Mr. Speaker, this Act is intended to provide a more efficient, effective biosecurity system. It provides for partnerships where applicable and allows for fleet-footedness of our border control. Now, not every industry in New Zealand is going to be able to participate in this partnership. There are some that clearly don't have the structure to join partnerships with the government, and I guess the equine industry is one of those, where it's spread right throughout New Zealand and doesn't have a body that could coordinate it. So that's a challenge for the future for this pieces of legislation such as this. During the course of our history, we've had some pretty successful or some spectacular success, really, at dealing with incursions in the past. One of those being the scrapie disease came to New Zealand about 20 or 30 years ago. We managed to remove that from the country, did no further damage to our livestock industry at all. More recently, we had the equine flu in Australia, which was kept from New Zealand by a very effective and efficient border control system. So we do have a border control system that works. Well, if you bring it in your suitcase, you'll always get in, won't you? We have a border control system and a biosecurity system that I think works extremely effectively. And if people wish to try and shice the system, they will always be able to get through a system, because no system is bulletproof. But I think this bill puts in place a very strong system, a system that certainly complements the way we want to operate in New Zealand in the future. The trick for any business, in fact for the government, is to get the balance between risk and reward correct in the pursuit of a healthy economy and a better outcome for our country. Mr. Speaker, I was not on the select. We also banned parrots quite some time ago from this country. Mr. Speaker, I was not. I'm not sure how we got here. Mr. Speaker, I was not on this on the select committee that dealt with this business when it first came before the House. But I certainly have no problem in supporting the third reading of this bill, and I'm sure it will be a great success for the future of New Zealand. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Richard Prosser.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.